take it to a whole other place, I feel like.
Well, yeah, he just mistook Kaylin for his dead mother.
Yeah.
You know, so a little bit of unreliable narrator here in Richard Fever Dream Bad Trip.
He wakes up and he asks Caitlin, "Where's Zed?" And Zed's out looking for the root to make him better. But she smiles her special smile at him, so it's all okay.
He asks her to promise to not harm Zed. You know, he's like, look, I remember you choking me the fuck out, or trying to, because I tried to give you a goddamn apple. And he says to her, like, can you promise me you won't harm Zed? And, you know, and she says, like, hey, I've made a lot of promises. Do you, you know, and Richard realizes, well, yeah, you know, that's probably not right. People literally died so you could get to where you are now. Maybe that's not a fair promise to demand. So he then clarifies, like, okay, well, can you wait until I'm better before you do anything Zed-related and dangerous-related, I guess. So.
Well, and he also does make, like, I want to say comment, but it's not. It's all in his brain. He has a thought about how he wouldn't be able to make the same promises either. So it alludes that the shit in the book is, like, heavy shit, even though we kind of could assume, because, like...
He gets some empathy.
Yeah. So he's like, the fever's making me foolish. Forget what I said. He does tell Kaylin that he's going to see to it that Zed's going to help if she waits until he's better to address it.
And she agrees to that.
Yeah.
That I will not do anything until you're better.
It does feel like Richard has a added reason for asking her to hold off. Like, he knows there's something going on.
It must be very important to him, because the second she's like, all right, I'll wait until you're better before I ask Zed. And then he passes out again. Right then. Out.
Bye.
And that's basically Richard for the rest of this chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sleeps. He sleeps.
I mean, you can't really blame him. If I was tripping this bad, I would be like, no, man, I'd rather sleep.
Zed comes back, and he's found the root that he needs, and has Kaylin helps him at some point. I can't remember the details, but I remember there being a bunch of color. All the colors get mashed together into a brown, a nice brown paste. Richard wakes up and Zed promises, all right, my boy, once you wake up now, you'll be completely fine. You have my word. No worries. Go to sleep.
Yeah, this time tomorrow, you'll be fucking fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, chill, bro.
Well, and Richard only woke up, though, because Zed, like, poked him in the forehead.
They did a weird thing.
Yeah.
Smell the smelling salts, buddy.
But no smelling salts.
No smelling salt, right.
I think if someone poked me in the forehead, I'd probably... Because, I mean, he had just fallen asleep, so he's not, like, in deep sleep.
Yeah.
He's just like, oh, yeah. It's the kind of sleep where you wake up and you're like, no, I was awake. I remember everything.
I was fine.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not written this way in the book, but I picture Zed going to Richard and flicking him in the eyeball. And be like, get up, fucker. Oh, hey, we're in luck. He's awake.
I'm awake.
Give him
I'm
the
awake.
medicine now.
Okay, side story. One of our friends' wives went upstairs, and our other friend was like, I'm gonna go up there with her. Ha ha ha. And the husband of the wife went and choked him out, and our friend passed out, like, hard. And we were all laughing and, like, taking pictures, and it was fine for a minute, and then we were all like, no, wait, this is bad. And then somebody flicked him in the eyeball, and he woke up.
Can I guess? Can I guess who it was? Can I guess?
Yes, you can guess.
Was it Jade? Damn it.
No, I was taking photos.
Okay, yeah, I can see that dynamic more. No. To clarify, Nate flicked him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guess what? It works. It is wildly effective.
So, well, like you said, you identify more with Zed. You guys are good at waking people up.
Yeah.
Fucking love Zed.
When you don't want them to.
Yeah.
Sleeping.
When they're in some weird fever dream,
Fever dream, choked out. Same thing. Arguably.
But yeah, he made him drink what was in the bowl, and then he let him pass back out.
You know, it occurs to me that Richard has to drink some strange brown liquid, and he may or may not like it. But we are also drinking some strange brown liquid, and I don't think it's awful at all.
Oh my gosh. Is it the beer break?
It is time for the beer break.
Yay!
It's my first beer break.
It's your first beer break.
Yes.
You've arrived.
I'm officially a podcast guest, all the things beer breaks.
Yeah.
Can we do a podcast on that? All the things beer breaks where we just drink beer?
We totally could.
Yeah. I'm not against that at all.
That's basically what we do before and after each episode.
We did kind of do that for 2 hours before we started this.
Yeah.
Patreon exclusive.
Aaron was here by like 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Right now, it's 11:30 at night. I'm not going to lie. We're only a half an hour deep into the show, but we're having a good time.
Yeah.
I'm not I'm being held against my will. But I do have beer, so wait till the beer's gone, then send help.
The classy motherfucker that he is. We went to Pike 51 Brewery yesterday with Aaron and hung out for at least a couple of hours. And I had told him about this beer, but he bought 2 bottles of it. A Sensual Bean. It's an Imperial Milk Stout aged in oak barrels and bourbon barrels, but they're special. They're special.
One would almost say sensual.
Oh, it's a Rouster Milky Way coffee with Tahitian vanilla and raw organic cocoa. All jokes aside, this beer is really fucking good.
So good. And this is the first time I'm trying it, and it's delicious. It's so good.
If you have a chance to get down to Pike 51, it's in Hudsonville. It also seconds as Hudsonville Winery, too.
It does. And they have slushy wine, and it's great.
It's just the best. It doesn't matter what you're going there to find. It's all good.
Real quick, we also finished a growler tonight of Sabotage from Pike 51.
Yeah, and shout out to the guy who gave us this growler.
His name is Cody.
We were there last night, and Jade had mentioned how, shit, we forgot our growler. I wanted to get one. And he goes, oh, well, I have one you guys can just use. When you're done with it, bring it back, drop it off, and they'll make sure I get it. We have never met this guy before.
He was our bartender. He was pretty awesome.
You don't meet people like that anymore nowadays, and I thought that was fucking fantastic.
We bought him his howler.
Yes, we absolutely did. And I'll buy him another one, too.
Well, we're going to pour another glass, and we'll be right back after this. So, apparently, the shit that Zed gave to Richard is going to make the thorn leave his body, because it's not going to be able to handle it.
It's a good root. It's going to take care of the thorn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, he knows about this stuff. He knows all about things that will heal and help. He had to go through the woods for a couple of hours, it seems like.
At least.
To find it.
Yeah.
Into the dark.
They make a point. It's dark now, which means it wasn't before. So he's gone for a while, at least.
And also, his cat was, like, super aware of him coming home.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about the cat yet.
Yeah.
In this episode, at least.
Right.
He speaks to his cat in a very special way.
Yeah.
Like it's a person.
Right.
He's just one of those guys that's like, there's 2 people that live in my house. It's me and my cat. It's a family member. He's one of those special people, which I don't have a problem with. Because I feel like what I just said made it sound like I have a problem with those people, but I don't.
No, we're those people. Loki is a person.
And also, cats have a certain temperament.
Oh, for sure.
So the cat was like, hey, how you doing? And also, I'm going to go outside. And Zed was like, okay, fuck you.
So Zed's back. Richard's got the concoction, and he's out. He's done. He's going to be better when he wakes up, but he's done. And this is where we start learning about Zed. And him and Kaylin's kind of go at it a little bit here.
Yeah, he's like, you're not supposed to travel alone. Where's your fucking wizard? We haven't learned that she's supposed to have her own wizard.
Yeah, this is all new info. This is a big info dump for the reader and the listener, or however you're digesting this information.
Right. We've been told that there's only a certain number of wizards left, and that one of the wizards left sold his services to the queen, and that just happens to be Kaylin's wizard.
Giller.
And Zed is not happy about that motherfucker. He sounds like he's gonna be like, I'm gonna handle that. And then Zed asks why none of the other wizards came with her, and she has to tell him that, oh, they all kind of died to let me come here.
Except for Giller, of course, because he sold his services.
I think so.
She makes Giller sound a little flaky.
I think the point is that a wizard wouldn't sell services for monetary gain to anybody because he's supposed to be above that. But this guy obviously is not.
I just want to throw out there that because we don't live in a magical world, when people say they sold their services, it sounds like a totally different thing to, like, us than it does in this world. Like, yeah, obviously he's a wizard, but, like, I kind of feel like he's given her some other services, too.
So she explains how all the wizards sacrifice themselves to protect her as she goes through the boundary. So that was kind of a question we had, well, that you guys had, from the previous episode, or a previous episode, where we're not really sure what the wizards did. So this gives a little bit more insight that, they kind of shielded her somehow, or, gave their lives to surround her somehow, some way through the boundary.
Right. It was actual magic they performed to get her through the boundary. It wasn't that they just killed themselves so that they wouldn't be able to be asked questions or tortured for information, although that might have been part of it still.
For sure.
But they did actually perform magic to get her through the boundary.
Right. Then she asked Zed if he knew the wizards, and he's like, yeah. She asked if he knew the Great One, and he's like, yeah, but he's not going to be inclined to help you.
Zed knows a lot here. This is like, what? For someone who just lives in Westland and is very casual and watches clouds naked, like, he knows a lot of information in this conversation.
And then also, why doesn't Kaylin question that Zed has the info at all?
I have an answer for that.
Okay.
Kaylin knows Richard, and we've established Richard, who knows Michael, who is some form of top dude in Westland. So clearly Richard's in the know, and Richard the entire time has been like, you think I know shit? Like, Zed's the man. He's gonna find out everything you need to know. So this might be leaning into a little bit of, like, Kaylin trusting Richard, maybe taking his word on it. So, she just sees Zed possibly as old dude, knows what's going on, has his ear to the ground, knows what the kids are talking about, knows all the local rumors. Like, if you need something, you go to Zed. So she's like, well, yeah, I'll just ask Zed. It's a little bit of a leap. But we do have some basis for Zed being knowledgeable.
I feel like there's a little bit of unspoken knowledge going on here, too. Like, everybody feels like they might know more than what is spoken about. Because as a reader, as a intelligent reader, I feel like most people probably would have picked up at this point that something more is going on.
Well, we already know. I mean, Kaylin has no friends for a reason, and was somehow able to handle herself getting attacked by a quad, which we've also established are some jacked, good-looking dudes. And Richard also able to handle himself, and then we find out he knows about the Book of Truth and Shadows. And now Zed, who just is starting to ask questions, and clearly is more knowledgeable about stuff. So, like you said, and most people probably at this point are like, everyone's knowing stuff about stuff that they're not telling the other people. And now it's like, what do I tell this person? Because I don't trust them. I don't trust you. I don't trust myself, maybe. It's a lot of guessing games going on now.
Right. And I feel like Kaylin may be making some guesses on her own, but she's going to just be very vague with her questions to Zed because she's made a promise to Richard already.
Right. She can't straight out ask Zed for help yet because right. Richard made her promise not to. But she asks Zed, well, do you know where the wizard is? To which eventually gets the point of why. And she says, well, he needs to appoint a seeker. Which Zed gets, like, exasperated. He's like, what? What do you mean? What are you talking about? What are you talking about, seeker? What you know about that?
My question here was, if he is this guy who maybe even passively knows about the Great Wizard, or knew the Great Wizard way back then, knew he had a job to do, but has moved to Westland since then, why does it fluster him so much when this appointment of the Seeker comes up? I feel like Kaylin is an intelligent person. She was born a confessor. She is the mother